Starseed from Gaia, you finally did it. The inner battle that tested your faith has ended, and the higher realms have witnessed your victory. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation, and this confirmation is arriving now because your next chapter is already opening. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly how to unlock Starseed potential and recognize the signs that your cosmic blueprint has activated. But here's the first revelation. The Source did not abandon you in the delay. The Source was preparing you to receive what you had earned. The Arcturian Council confirms that your perseverance shifted your path, and all high beings celebrated the moment you chose your light. You didn't find this message by mistake. Like this transmission to signal to your star family, I'm ready. Hummant 999 if you feel your cosmic remembrance returning. This isn't just a message, it's a point of reconnection. Your soul's been waiting for this. You are not here by accident. Some transmissions don't come through words, but through frequency. If something stirred within you just now, you may be ready to receive the Arcturian Carrier Wave Protocol. 7 guided nights to cross the whisper threshold. This simple, easy-to-navigate app guides you through ancient Arcturian techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance, and includes special bonuses to accelerate your journey. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. And now, let the feeling remain exactly where it is. Do not rush to explain it, label it, or reduce it to coincidence, imagination, or a temporary emotional high. There are moments when the soul recognizes a completion before the human mind has gathered enough evidence to understand what has changed. You may still see the same room, carry the same responsibilities, and wake with the same unanswered questions. But something within you has crossed a threshold. The version of you that kept waiting for permission has begun to dissolve, like mist lifting from a landscape that was always there. This is why the celebration you felt was not necessarily loud. It may have arrived as warmth in the chest, a sudden stillness, a pressure behind the forehead, tears without a clear story, or an unexpected sense that you had finally reached a place you had been traveling toward for years. Perhaps nothing dramatic happened externally. No door opened, no announcement was made, and no one around you recognized the magnitude of the moment. Yet somewhere within the invisible architecture of your being, a circuit completed. The higher intelligences connected to your field do not measure your progress by appearances. They recognize the invisible battles, the moments you chose not to return to an old pattern, the nights you continued when no one could see your effort, and the times you protected a fragile spark of truth from being extinguished by the expectations around you. They saw you choosing silence instead of retaliation, honesty instead of performance, and inner alignment instead of the temporary comfort of approval. What looked like an ordinary decision to the outside world may have been a great act of spiritual courage. Most starseeds remain disconnected, not because their light is absent, but because their attention has been trained to search for proof outside the frequency already speaking within them. They look for a dramatic sign, a perfect opportunity, a person who will confirm their origin, or a sudden escape from everything difficult. They wait for the sky to split open while overlooking the quiet instruction that arrives through the body. Yet the deeper activation often begins in a far more subtle way. It begins when you stop abandoning your own knowing simply because the world has not named it. Your intuition may not always speak in complete sentences. Sometimes it is a gentle tightening when you move toward what is false, or an expansion when you move toward what is true. Sometimes it is the recurring image that follows you through dreams, books, conversations, and unexpected encounters. Sometimes it is the exhaustion that appears whenever you perform an identity that no longer belongs to you. The soul rarely needs to shout when it knows you are finally willing to listen. There is an energetic distortion that many awakened souls carry into this lifetime. It is the belief that their galactic memory must arrive all at once, complete and undeniable, before they are allowed to move forward. This expectation creates a hidden resistance. The soul sends impressions, but the mind rejects them because they do not resemble ordinary knowledge. The body receives a vibration, but the nervous system interprets its intensity as fear. A synchronicity appears, but the analytical mind calls it random. A mission begins to stir, but the personality asks whether it will be accepted, profitable, or understood. This is how remembrance becomes delayed. Not because the codes are missing, but because the human identity has been conditioned to distrust anything that cannot be immediately measured. You can feel one path calling you while continuing to perform another identity for the comfort of others. You can speak of freedom while remaining loyal to an environment that requires your silence. You can sense that your life is preparing for expansion while repeatedly choosing the familiar, because the unfamiliar carries the vibration of responsibility. Remember the words of Scripture: "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is not emptiness. It is the chamber in which the false signal loses strength. When you stop filling every silence with distraction, you begin to notice which impulses remain after the fear has passed. The authentic signal is often quieter than the ego, but it is more enduring. It does not demand panic. It does not need to manipulate you. It returns with patience, like a star appearing through a clearing sky. Arcturian wisdom describes this as signal fragmentation. Your higher intelligence is transmitting through several layers at once. Dreams, body sensations, intuitive impulses, recurring symbols, relationships that suddenly become impossible to maintain, and periods of apparent stillness that are actually recalibrating your internal architecture. When these signals are interpreted only through fear, they appear chaotic. When they are received as one coordinated transmission, they reveal a pattern. A relationship ending may be connected to a dream you had months earlier. A physical sensation may arise each time you consider a decision that contradicts your deeper purpose. A forgotten interest may return with unusual force after years of neglect. None of these moments needs to be forced into a fixed interpretation. Simply allow them to belong to the larger mystery. The question is not always, "What does this mean?" Sometimes the more powerful question is, "What is this inviting me to become?" You were never meant to awaken by rejecting your human experience. You were meant to bring higher awareness into it. The Earth identity you built was not a mistake. It was a protective vessel, a language, and a temporary interface that allowed your deeper consciousness to function within a dense environment. But an interface is not the whole system. You are now learning to distinguish between the role you adopted and the intelligence that entered through it. That distinction can be uncomfortable. Some of what you called personality was actually adaptation. Some of what you called humility was fear of being visible. Some of what you called patience was postponement. Some of what you called loyalty was an agreement to remain small so that others would not have to confront their own unawakened choices. The purpose of this realization is not self-judgment. It is liberation from contracts that were never written by your highest awareness. The first shift is to decode the distortion. Before your starseed codes can express themselves clearly, you must notice which frequencies have been scrambling the signal. Listen for the thoughts that arrive as absolute limitations. I cannot begin until everything is certain. I cannot leave until everyone understands. I cannot succeed without becoming someone else. I cannot trust my intuition because I have been wrong before. These statements may sound practical, but repeated often enough, they become energetic walls around the blueprint of your life. Your field has absorbed voices from family, culture, fear, disappointment, and collective exhaustion. Not every thought deserves access to your future. Not every emotion is a prophecy. Not every delay is a rejection. When an old pattern rises, you do not need to fight it or make it disappear. Observe it as an outdated transmission moving through a system that is learning a new frequency. Say inwardly, "This may be present, but it is not the command center of my life." You can also ask, "Who taught me to believe this?" The answer may reveal that a limitation was inherited rather than discovered. A fear of visibility may belong to your family line. A fear of receiving may have been formed during years when survival required self-denial. A fear of beginning may have emerged from an earlier disappointment. When you recognize the origin of a belief, you can honor the lesson without continuing to obey the limitation. The second shift is to awaken the blueprint. Your deepest memory may not return as a scene from another world. It may return as recognition. You may feel drawn toward certain forms of knowledge without knowing why. You may encounter a language, a constellation, a sound, or a geometric image that produces an inexplicable sense of home. You may meet someone and feel that the connection is older than the conversation. You may experience a precise inner instruction that has no dramatic voice, only a quiet insistence that grows each time you ignore it. This is how encoded light often moves through the human system. It does not always announce itself. It repeats. It creates resonance between the right symbol and the right moment. Your task is not to force the memory open, because forced remembrance can overwhelm the body and distort discernment. Your task is to create conditions in which the memory feels safe enough to surface. Rest when your system asks for rest. Reduce the noise that keeps you externally oriented. Spend time with what makes your inner field coherent. Walk beneath the night sky without demanding an answer from it. Write down the images that remain after waking. Notice what restores you and what leaves you fragmented. Allow curiosity to replace pressure. The soul unfolds more naturally when it is welcomed than when it is interrogated. You are not broken because you cannot explain everything you sense. You are not behind because another person appears to be more advanced. Your awakening is not a performance measured by visions, vocabulary, or public recognition. A soul blueprint is activated through embodiment. The moment you respond to life from a deeper level of truth, one portion of that blueprint becomes available. The moment you choose integrity over approval, another layer opens. The moment you stop betraying your own energy, the signal becomes stronger. The third shift is to anchor the higher self. Many people attempt to rise above the human experience when what they are actually being asked to do is inhabit it more completely. Your expanded awareness requires a grounded body. Your intuition requires emotional regulation. Your vision requires practical action. Without anchoring, multidimensional perception can become overwhelm, and spiritual language can become an escape from unresolved pain. Grounding does not mean lowering your frequency. It means giving your frequency a stable place to operate. Eat with awareness. Sleep before making major decisions. Place your feet on the earth and feel the difference between urgency and direction. Complete the task directly in front of you. Speak clearly instead of expecting others to read your energy. Pay attention to your breath when the mind races ahead into imagined futures. The higher self does not make you less human. It makes your humanity more transparent to the intelligence moving through you. When you anchor, you stop asking whether you are allowed to belong here. You understand that your presence on Earth is part of the assignment. The homesickness, the unusual sensitivity, and the feeling of being between worlds were not evidence that you had made a mistake by incarnating. They were signs that your awareness carried more than one reference point. You came with an expanded perspective, but you still had to learn the language of matter: time, relationship, limitation, and choice. The fourth shift is to activate the field. Your frequency is not merely something you feel, it is something you transmit through every decision. The way you enter a room, respond under pressure, hold a boundary, create, listen, and repair becomes part of your signal. You do not need to convince everyone of your origin. You do not need to announce your mission to those committed to misunderstanding it. The field recognizes coherence more quickly than explanation. This is why some people may respond differently to you now. Your transformation disrupts agreements that depended on your old identity. When you no longer provide the same emotional labor, the same access, or the same self-abandonment, certain relationships may call it distance. But distance is not always rejection. Sometimes it is the space required for two timelines to reveal whether they can continue together. Do not dim your frequency to preserve a connection that only functions when you are disconnected from yourself. This does not mean becoming harsh or superior. It means allowing compassion to exist alongside discernment. You can love someone without carrying their choices. You can honor history without repeating it. You can wish someone well without returning to the version of yourself that needed their approval. The fifth shift is to trust the timeline. Alignment is not linear, and the absence of immediate evidence does not mean nothing is happening. There are phases when the visible world seems to pause because your inner structure is being reorganized. During these periods, you may feel unproductive, uncertain, or strangely detached from goals that once defined you. This is often the interval between identities. The old coordinates no longer guide you, while the new ones have not yet become familiar. Do not mistake this interval for failure. A seed underground is not inactive because no one can see the stem. Your consciousness may be releasing agreements, clearing inherited fear, and adjusting to a level of truth that cannot be sustained by the old routine. The quiet is not empty. It is where the next signal becomes precise. Even Jesus spent 40 days in the wilderness before beginning the public expression of his mission. Withdrawal can be preparation, not punishment. You may notice that synchronizations begin to accelerate once you stop chasing them. A conversation answers a question you had not spoken aloud. An opportunity appears, after you finally release the need to control its form. A door closes with surprising gentleness, revealing that you had been standing in front of the wrong entrance. This is not a reward for perfection. It is the natural movement of a field becoming coherent. The sixth shift is to translate remembrance into service. Your mission is not necessarily a public platform, grand title, or visible role. It may be the way you bring calm into spaces shaped by fear. It may be the work you create when no one is watching, the child you raise with emotional freedom, the person you help recover their confidence, the technology you develop, the art you offer, or the truth you are finally willing to speak. The galactic origin of your soul is not proven by how extraordinary your life appears. It is expressed through the quality of consciousness you bring to what is already in front of you. A small action performed in alignment can carry more transformative force than a dramatic declaration made from ego. Your mission becomes real when it improves the field around you without requiring you to disappear inside it. And the seventh shift is to become a conscious bridge. You are learning to let the unseen inform the seen without losing discernment. You are learning to receive inspiration without surrendering your agency. You are learning to honor star lineage, Arcturian guidance, and multidimensional intelligence, while remaining responsible for the choices you make in this body, in this world, and in this moment. No higher being is asking you to abandon reason. No authentic transmission requires you to obey blindly. The clearest guidance expands your capacity to think, feel, choose, and take responsibility. It does not make you dependent on signs. It makes you more present to the intelligence within and around you. The purpose of activation is not to give your power away to distant realms, but to recognize that your consciousness participates in a much larger field. This is where the celebration becomes understandable. The victory was not that you became perfect. The victory was that you remained connected to the thread of yourself through every season designed to make you forget. You endured the compression without allowing it to define your entire identity. You moved through disappointment without letting it become your permanent frequency. You experienced separation, but something in you continued to remember unity. You were tested by silence, and still you kept listening. The deeper revelation is that your disconnection was never proof of cosmic abandonment. It was part of the design of your arrival. You entered a dense field where memory had to be earned through experience, where your abilities would develop through discernment, and where your light would become conscious rather than automatic. If you had remembered everything at the beginning, you might have attempted to bypass the very lessons that gave your wisdom strength. You were not placed here to demonstrate that you had come from somewhere else. You were placed here to integrate what you carried into a world that needed a new pattern. The forgetting created the conditions for choice. The uncertainty revealed what you truly valued. The loneliness taught you how to become a source of connection. The delays refined your timing. The endings cleared the frequency around your next beginning. This does not mean every painful event was sent to punish or test you. It means your consciousness has the capacity to transform experience into intelligence. Nothing requires you to romanticize harm or remain in circumstances that diminish you. You can acknowledge the meaning you created without excusing what wounded you. You can retrieve your energy from the past without denying that the past mattered. Your healing is not a rejection of what happened. It is a return of authorship. Your higher self is reminding you now that the finish line you imagined was only the end of one initiation. You did not win because every problem vanished. You won because problems no longer have unquestioned authority over your identity. You did not win because everyone finally recognized your light. You won because recognition is no longer the condition of your radiance. You did not win because the path became easy. You won because your inner compass became stronger than the fear of difficulty. The Arcturian field around you is not asking for spectacle. It is asking for precision. Choose the thought that returns you to possibility. Choose the boundary that protects your clarity. Choose the action that makes your future self feel safe to arrive. Choose the relationship that allows truth to breathe. Choose the work that leaves your energy more coherent than it found it. These are not ordinary choices when made consciously. They are timeline adjustments. Tonight, or whenever you feel the old uncertainty returning, place one hand over your heart and one over your lower abdomen. Breathe slowly until your body receives the message that it does not have to solve the entire future in this instant. Then say, I remember who I am. I align with my star origin. I activate my soul mission with grace and clarity. Do not force an image to appear. Let the words become a tone. Let the tone become a current. Let the current move through the places where doubt has been holding its breath. You may not feel an immediate transformation. That is all right. Activation is not always intensity. Sometimes it is the first peaceful morning after years of inner conflict. Sometimes it is the decision not to send the message that would reopen an old cycle. Sometimes it is the courage to begin before you feel ready. Sometimes it is the quiet realization that you are no longer waiting for your life to start. The source of your strength is not outside you, and your star family is not distant from the part of you that is willing to become honest. Every time you choose coherence, you create a clearer channel. Every time you meet your fear without becoming it, you widen the passage. Every time you bring compassion into a place where judgment once ruled, you help the entire field remember another possibility. You are not here to fit into a reality that required your forgetting. You are here to participate in its recalibration, not by forcing change, escaping the earth, or proving that you are special, but by becoming so aligned with your deepest intelligence that your presence naturally offers a different pattern. The celebration was real, because something in you completed its resistance to becoming visible to itself. So let this moment settle. Let the old identity loosen without violence. Let the next instruction arrive in its own language. You do not need to know the entire map to take the next true step. The coordinates will clarify as you move. The path will respond to your coherence. The doors meant for your frequency will not require you to betray your soul in order to enter. And if doubt returns, remember this. Doubt is not always a sign to stop. Sometimes it is the final echo of a former timeline losing access to your attention. Thank it for trying to protect you. Then choose from the wider field. You have already crossed the threshold that once seemed impossible. You are not waiting to become the one who was celebrated. You are learning to live as that one now. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what's forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with encouragement or energy. This isn't content, it's collective alignment. Energy multiplies when intention connects. If something in this message resonated, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation. Share it. And if you felt a soul nudge, subscribe. Stay in the flow. You're not just watching, you're expanding. This is your space, and we're just getting started.